Welcome to another edition of the Digicel Sports Show right here on Islandstats.com. I'm your host, Earl Baston, and joining me yet again is Troublemaker, Jason Juggling J. Ford. Yes, Troublemaker.
Got another announcement.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. Well, obviously today we're going to talk more about the ICC Division 4 tournament. Got a chance to speak to Kamal Levrock about the incident that took place and how things unfolded over in Malaysia that kind of set us back at the start of the tournament. We have the area permit meet, which will take place tomorrow at the National Sports Center. The Bermuda National Athletic Association have just released, or earlier today released, the athletes and the competitions in which they will compete in. So plenty to talk about. We'll get to that and everything else after this message from our sponsor.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber-to-the-home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the...
Right to it?
Let's go right to it.
Right to it. Had an opportunity to speak with Kamal Levrock, who was back in England following the relegation to Division 5 for Bermuda from the ICC World Cricket League Division 4. Let's get the interview with Kamal Levrock, and when we come back, we'll discuss in more detail.
Well, Levrock, obviously the Division 4 tournament did not go the way we would have wanted it to, but there was a lot of talk before the tournament got underway and you missing the first two games. In your words, explain what happened.
I'm a player that takes his preparation very serious, obviously before tournament, especially when, there's a lot of hope on me to perform well in the tournament. And there's just a bit of a misunderstanding between me and a few players where I was bowling in training, and I was bowling quite big no balls, but I do that in training. I don't have any issues with no balls in games, and I explained to them that they don't need to really comment on it at the time because I was trying to work on something, and it just kept going. So obviously with me feeling a little bit of pressure and having to prepare and stuff in such a short time, I got a little bit heated and I lost my temper a bit. Obviously the media had a bit of embellishment on what actually happened. I didn't throw my helmet. I threw one glove after I came out the net. I didn't throw any shoes. I just flicked my shoes off in anger. I didn't throw them anywhere. They landed right next to me. I didn't throw my hat, and I kicked over a box of empty bottles. That's pretty much what happened. A lot of people have said a lot of things about me, about not wearing a Bermuda shirt ever again and stuff like that. But to them, I think they need to realize that the same passion that got me angry in training is the same passion that could win Bermuda games. And this is my first incident ever with a Bermuda tour. So I think that people should just let that be and let me get on with what I want to do with Bermuda cricket.
What have you learned about Team Bermuda Cricket and yourself in this outcome of going down to Division 5?
Well, I've learned that it's more than the team. You can't expect someone to build a house without any wood or any nails and just a hammer. We went on a tour and there was no real preparation before it. It was a 3-match series in UAE with different conditions, different pitches. We only had 2 spinners available, so obviously player dedication is a problem. There's a lot of things that factor in on why Bermuda cricket has actually declined over the years, and it's quite disappointing to open my eyes and see as I get older.
Is it your hope that players can sit down with the board, clubs, and government to sort of hash out what you guys have seen? Because you guys have been internationally and you've seen what the other countries have been able to do, but you haven't been able to do it on the local soil. So are you hoping that this all could come together in a meeting form so things could be hashed out?
Well, one thing we do not have is player representation. We don't have a players' union, so players are not able to defend themselves. When things happened on tour, I was not able to defend myself. I was just handed a 2-match ban without even being able to speak to the coaches. I don't even think the coaches knew what was going on as well. So it's the protocol for when things go wrong is not really something that's there, and it needs to be put in place. So definitely a players' union has to be formed in order for things to start to get better.
So am I hearing you right? You were given a 2-match suspension by the manager?
Yeah, so it's quite interesting. At first, it didn't start as a 2-match ban, but it got to that point as he was emailing back and forth to, I think it was one of the representatives of the cricket board, whether it be Neil or the president. So, like I said, there was no real protocol to what happened. Everyone says I should act in a professional manner, but I don't think the same thing is reciprocated by the administration.
Okay, so where do we go from here? You're back in England now. Obviously, you got a season ahead of you. There's still, last year you excited everyone in county, you excited people in cup match. So where do you go from here?
The only thing I'm doing is going to focus on playing for not second team, and that's about it. I've thought long and hard, and I've decided to not make myself available for any more Bermuda cricket tours, to focus on what I need to do in the UK. There is a possibility that I may come back this summer at some point to play a cup match, maybe. I still haven't decided yet, but as of right now, I think I'm going to take a break from playing for Bermuda and focus on myself, because these tours have seemed to be more detrimental to my personal goals than it has helpful.
You think he hit the nail on the head? Well, he said he just had a hammer going to the game. No nails, no wood.
That interview is many layers. So do you want to start with the preparation, or do you want to go to the incident?
Let's start with the preparation.
We've been talking about it.
Yeah? Lack thereof.
And even though he's one of the younger ones, but he's been in a professional outfit for a little while now in the UK. So he would have seen, especially being involved in MCC and the county teams, going around, knowing how to tour, when to tour, what the preparation is like, things of that nature, even pre-season training, what they do for pre-season, all these different things, get ready for a competition. And you remember, just think about it, he's only joining the team.
Right.
Once they get over there. Remember, he wasn't really trained, which was, I think he probably been more frustrated.
Well, yes.
If he was here the whole time. We have to do better.
Yeah.
We just have to do better. And it's, we keep trying. This method is not working. We all concede. The players recognize it. And I keep saying, earlier, you know me, practice becomes a habit. Good practices become good habits. Bad practices become bad habits. And that's not only on the field, but off the field. These things have to be addressed. And we could sit here and keep sending our boys away and away and away, but then we're sabotaging ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's what it feels like. And unfortunately, the guys who are committed, and I keep saying this, the guys who are committed, who does put in the time, who does sacrifice the time for their family, this, that, and the other, dang on the lion's den.
Yeah. If you can climb out of this, you survive.
And it's got to be frustrating for the likes of Gennaro Tucker. Got to be frustrating for the likes of Stephen Otterbridge, who's coming back into the flow. But I'll be interested to have a conversation with him. Do you see much difference between then and now?
Yeah. Probably not.
And I'm almost going back now. And Earl, let's think about it. The last time when we were really serious about preparation, remember who the coach was?
No one.
Let me help you out. Goslogi.
No. Remember, in 2005, when he came, it was the last leg of
Well, it was the last leg.
We didn't have a coach.
Right, but still.
Because the players got themselves together.
When Gus came.
Yes.
When Gus came.
Yes. He fine-tuned a lot of things. And,
very quickly, let's get to the West Indies.
Yeah.
Get some games.
Yeah.
Now, even though, there's a bit of difference with pitches and stuff, but let's get down there as soon as possible.
Outside. Playing in the middle. Yeah.
Soon as.
Yeah.
Practicing in nets indoor when we're going up on turf that's turning big sideways.
90 degrees?
And then we're only going to take 2 spinners. Now, obviously, that's player availability.
Well, Kamal put it down as player commitment.
But Earl. So now that leads us into the incident. And we've been around cricket long enough to know that these flare-ups, would be called mental flare-ups, frustration, whatever things, happens on a week-to-week basis.
Primarily, it happens when you have like kind of all-star teams or teams that don't normally train together, and you have a guy that has a tendency of doing something his way in training, and primarily it's not the coach that says anything.
A lack of understanding, and that's where the coaching should be able to. And see, this is where coaches have to coach, but coaches also have to manage. When they say manage, I mean, you're managing personalities. Just use a basketball reference. Let's go to Phil Jackson. The days of the Bulls. Now you had somebody like Michael Jordan, whose ego was probably beyond earth. But then you had somebody eccentric like Dennis Rodman. Who had been a trouble wherever he went.
You have to manage his. You had to manage him off the field more than you had to manage him on.
But he was able to do that. Now he became, his Zen this and Zen that. But he was able to manage all these different guys. Remember, you also had guys at the time, which was sort of new at the time, a lot of guys coming in from Europe. Tony Kukoc, the guy Luke Long came from Australia. So you got different coaches, different people, and he was able to manage them. And I think at the time they got maybe 5 rings with that group. But in saying that, that's what's. But if you're only with these guys for a short period of time, do you really get to learn the player?
No. You're at a disadvantage.
Because you sort of like got to get hit the road running at what you're trying to do, but you're not able to. So that is a big disadvantage. Now, going forward, there has to be some player representation. It's been talked before. I remember you asking Lloyd Smith, the president, when he was running. And it's been too many incidents where players have not been able to represent
themselves or a colleague. Yeah.
And the way that it's done now, you will not get commitment from the players who are not in the squad now.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber to the home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
It would appear that once they're in the squad, they become victimized. Now, like it or not, that's the way the player is going to feel. And it's up to the people on the board to understand that and not say, well, to hell with it. If they don't want to be a part, that's not the attitude to have right now, because we need everybody possible.
Once again, we're sabotaging ourselves.
Yeah, we need everybody possible.
Let's just rewind this clock just a little bit. Just a little bit. Stephen Otterbridge just coming back into the team after being a captain.
Yeah. Trying to think how many years he was out. But yeah. because he felt he couldn't defend himself.
Down one boarding.
Still out. Feels victimized.
And we can argue that he's been one of the top spinners in the island for the last decade.
Mm-hmm.
Rodney Trott.
Same thing.
Once again, what do we need on our team right now?
The boys are floated up and turned. Floated up and turned. But, again, have we as a board or an organization gone and had a sit-down, an honest sit-down conversation with players who are only outside looking in and ask them why? And if we're not willing to have that conversation, stand up and say, I'm not willing to have that conversation.
You know what? I'll be naive to think that we have. But the process is what happens after that talk.
Right.
Because there's still nothing in place.
Right.
So I could pull you aside. Hey, look, man, look.
No.
I'm got your back.
But you know what happens? You know what happens? Somebody else goes on the side and says, hey, look, what do you think about the board? What do you think about representing the board? But that person's not involved in the board. They just know somebody on the board.
Yeah.
But that now the players automatically say, because they're open with that person.
No.
But then you start thinking, hey, hold on. Why is that person asking me and not the representation from the board?
If you look at the makeup of, when we have a disciplinary action that needs to take place, and what happens on the Thursdays, I believe it is, or the week or whatever.
Yeah, I know football is Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah, something like that. And it's normally made up
former players and persons in the community. Yeah.
But we sort of don't really have that, in the other way.
No.
So let's get with it. I know now for the players. Let's give you an idea too. If you become a union, or if you become, you're gonna have to also abide by
rules and regulations.
Period.
Yeah.
So just don't think that you can just show from the mountaintop and everything's be.
And then somebody can come and defend you.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the unions in Bermuda, yes, they do stand up when they feel that their members are being aggrieved. But they also make sure that their members abide by the rules.
Abide by the rules.
And if you don't, then, because you hear people say, oh, so-and-so wouldn't even defend me. Well, what are the terms and the conditions in which you wanted them to defend you? Well, I was late every day, but at least I showed up to work.
Yeah,
come on.
That's not gonna work.
No, man. Come on.
So, like I said, it's so many layers to this. And the post-mortem, and I mentioned the last show, this post-mortem is going to probably be very critical.
It should be critical.
In Bermuda's cricket going forward.
But it also...
Now, I want to make sure, and for all the players who are on this tour, or even former tours, be allowed to speak without repercussions. Freely,
yeah. And that was what I was going to say. The board has to listen, not go in there and say, well, it's going to be our way. You have to listen. And players, you have to listen to the board. It's a two-way street. Meet in the middle. It's not going to be, well, they ain't going to listen to me, or they don't listen to... No. Everybody listen to everybody.
Also, in that, I don't want to just go to the base side either. The handing down of this suspension.
Yeah.
It has to be a process.
Should be.
Needs
to be.
Number one.
Must be.
Players know. Coaches know.
Right.
Administration know.
Yes.
It cannot be administration and the players
till
and the coaches are till and don't have no clue.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's what we've heard.
Or no conversation.
That's what we've heard.
Yeah, that's what we've heard.
So
that's been the comment alleged that's what took place.
Let's be honest.
Right.
That's we only heard it from Kamal.
And
good to hear from the other side.
Well, I'm hoping to get a sit down.
No, but we need to hear from. To be honest with you, we need to hear from the captain. coach,
Yeah. And the administration.
and the team manager.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because those three should have been involved
It should have been
in the decision making.
Right, then that's what I was going to say. With Kamal not even, and in his words, not being able to defend himself, where was the hearing? Where was the sit down?
The captain should have been able to at least defend.
Right.
That should have been Kamal's go-to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then the captain goes to the coach.
Mm-hmm. Coach goes to the manager.
And he's in between.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way
Right.
it should.
It is my hope that Kamal didn't know that the process was done. That's my hope. Because if it wasn't done, then it's a lot to be desired. Because you start saying one person's making a decision, one or two people's making a decision, and others who are in positions are not even asked
And
or...
then I'm also going to question the actual disciplinary action.
Mm-hmm.
For what was alleged to have happened.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody who was, even the manager, anybody coach who was even there at that field, you do not suspend a player in local cricket for that.
No.
At all.
No.
You won't even write him up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, not to say that when we go on tour, it's a different level of expectations. I fully agree.
Right.
But a 2-game suspension?
In a 6-game series.
You sabotage. Okay, this action sabotaged
Our
this
chances.
tour.
Yeah.
No, this tour.
Right.
Thank you. That's the way I feel. Thank you. Now, could we have some, maybe, because who knows? Kamal could have got 2 dogs.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just think now, Earl, what they've done to the psyche of the other players. Where do you think that trust is now in the hierarchy?
Well, there's no trust there now.
Thank you.
No trust. So any problem I would have had, I can't take it to
And
them.
Earl, this is not the
know.
first time.
Nope.
So, like I said, this postmortem is going to be critical. Everybody, you know what? Go somewhere. That's going to be soundproof, maybe, and let everybody get it off. Because with
And you can't arrange a meeting for an hour.
that's not going to work.
No.
That's not going to work. That's not going to work.
No.
Because just think about it. And I'm just going to use this, right? What travels faster? Good news or bad news?
Bad.
Okay. So if I had a bad experience, and I go back to my club, and there's gonna be some folks who might be trying to get into the national, or might want to go train for the national squad.
Nah, you don't want to be part of that.
And we know that happens.
Yeah. Because what you do here, you can't do over there. What you do in games here, you can't do over there. We gotta come up with one set of rules, man.
So I don't care if they go to the ECB and look exactly how they discipline from grassroots.
Yeah.
Because this is not just starting at the senior level.
No.
From the grassroots all the way up.
And the most important thing, Jay, is this. You cannot look at the player, look at the incident. Because a lot of times in Bermuda, it's the player. And if somebody thinks, oh, this low brood so-and-so, I'm going to burn him.
Something that's preceded and has influenced your decision.
Not the incident, because the incident could be something minor. But because it's this person that I don't like.
You already have a perception of this person.
Yes, man. And it's wrong, and it happens, and it needs to stop. And that's across the board. Has to stop.
Well, like I said, first of all, I hope that all the players, because you guys are a brotherhood, first things first, you guys have to stand up for each other. Whether it's right, whether it's wrong, you have to stand up for each other first, because today it might be me, tomorrow it might be you. And I think when the players speak with one voice, because just like there's administration, we talked about, just like there's government, just like there's coaches, you guys are a stakeholder in this. And you're the the product.
Yeah.
You are the product.
Right.
So if there's no product, there's no sense for a coach, no administration.
Right.
So, you gotta understand, you have just as much clout. But if you don't speak with one voice, it's gonna be hard. So whether that's having a players union, when it's having a team rep, even, and somebody that can go between the team and the coaches, or the team and administration, but there has to be some type of representation of the feeling, and because, just even think about it like this, Earl. Somebody like that, right? Let's say somebody like that will be normally, would you say, closer to the age of the players or closer to the age of the administration?
Players. Because that person's going to feed off of what?
If that person knows the players going to be closer to these guys compared to closer than.
Yeah.
So just in human nature,
Yeah.
they're going to be able to understand a little bit more
Of what the players are going through, and what he's hearing, or what he or she, because not being gender biased, what they're hearing.
Well, this not being gender biased, but Earl, this is gonna have to happen in women's cricket too.
Yeah.
This is not just
Right. Yeah.
So it's a lot of things, and yes, it's all good to complain, but we have to be solutions oriented.
Yeah.
So
It's
for
time
us,
now, man.
For
It's
us, I
time.
think it's time now. I think we're in Division 5.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to start doing some things differently to expect a different result. Because right now,
Yeah. Well, I believe Division 5 will have when those games are, because they start pretty soon as well. So there's an opportunity to rebound. But again, first things first, Jay, and I agree with you, we must have that postmortem, and everybody must have a chance to express themselves.
if not, you will see a decline in commitment, which we've already seen in our players wanting. And see, this is where I think sometimes the media or people's perceptions gets distorted. I don't think the main problem, and I'm pretty sure because I'm spoke to players, it's not that they don't want to represent Bermuda.
They just don't want all the bullcrap that comes with it.
So just think about that. When we keep talking about commitment and that, a lot of times they don't want to deal with the inner workings.
Right. Yep.
Now, they have a choice. And their choice is to not be a part of it.
Right. Get on board or get off, one or the other.
So I just think if there is some type of representation, there could be a medium where, okay, this is the way the things, this is all this is.
And to the cricket board, or to any board, don't hide behind the Constitution and say, well, we can't invite them or we can't acknowledge them until we have our AGM to vote on me in. Don't hide behind that. We're in a crisis? Fix it. Sort that other stuff out later.
Once again, that's only going to frustrate the players who are playing now and potential players that could possibly be playing for you.
Yep.
Okay, so let's man to man, woman to woman, let's sit down and deal with this.
Sure. But we'll have more after this message from our sponsor.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber to the home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
Well, Jay, tomorrow night it is anticipated that the National Sports Center will be a beehive of activity with athletes from all over the continent descending on Bermuda. They are here, trained today, probably a light session tomorrow morning, and then all hands on deck tomorrow evening. Weather forecast, as you said, not looking good, but it's a track meet. So, rain, blow, or shine, with the exception of lightning, it's expected to go on. So, after the first 2 years, what are you hoping to see this time around?
Okay, yes. For us here locally, once again, it's just another opportunity for our athletes to compete against elite opposition. And I think, for me personally, that's what I enjoy the most. To see what the last year has done with the coaches here, because there's also a representation of our coaches here.
Yes.
How have you improved your athlete? And that's when we start to see, okay, you're doing good in training, but where does it when you're in good competition? So I love that part of it. I also love the part that we're having something like this on a yearly basis. My only concerns is that if we do not, and we say this many times, but if we do not support it, then we're going to lose it.
Yeah. People always say, well, there's nothing to do. There's nothing. Here we have Olympic medalists, Commonwealth medalists.
So I think, once again, and hopefully the word gets out today, which I just know it's just too, for me, it's just too late.
Right.
But you just mentioned, we got Olympic medalists. Okay, who?
LaShawn Merritt.
No, but you
right.
Okay, yes, there was something in the daily not too long ago, but it's so
It was on Islandstats the day before.
Right, but I'm saying, but where is some of the video of him? Where is he posting something on Instagram? It's new ways now to do some things
to promote.
Hey, this is somebody married, I'm coming down there. Hey, this might go better, but guess what? Let me see if I can take you guys on. Hey, I'm coming from wherever the case may be. It's different ways to create excitement. And I don't think we've done that for this meet at all.
Right.
It's be also interesting for me to see Trey Houston.
I think he's only going to do the 100.
I mentioned it after the Commonwealth, and even prior to the Commonwealth, that this is going to be very important for Trey, because he's getting up there in age. Right. And
the interview with him on Tuesday, he talked about the fact that he's not going to be able to stay here. And he's realized with his new coach now, he's realized that Bermuda is not a training competition center.
No. So we all know that.
Yeah.
We all know that. But in saying that, Earl, it takes finances.
Well, yeah.
It takes finances. So very similar to we talked about cricket. We're gonna be very honest. Have those honest talks about how we are able to disperse what limited resources we do get.
Yeah. The plus for we'll talk Bermuda Olympic Association. When you're a athlete, you get X amount of money because the IOC provide funding in preparation. So, which helps, but it's not nowhere near what, because we're from Bermuda now. If that money was in the U.S., he would be comfortable. He can go to meets. He can live. He can he'll have his coach. He can do all those things. But in a place like Bermuda, it becomes very difficult.
So it's gonna be and we talked about all the things, expenses, even from travel to diet to massages to workout to wherever. All these things cost. So even just traveling to meets itself, how you get into the meets?
Yeah,
is by bus. Because planes can be very expensive.
That's right.
To go back and forth.
And we don't even know in here.
Yeah, so it's gonna be quite interesting. But in saying that, I do want to see him run the 100, and to see, I'm against some good competition.
Yeah.
But what I do like about this permit meet, It's a one shot. It's
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
one another. They're not there all day.
Well, actually, guess what? Got a special treat for you.
Okay.
You get to see a pink hurricane in the sprint.
Ooh.
Yeah, she's doing the 1 and the 2.
You know, I mean, she's a little.
Well, she was doing the longer distance last year because that was what was in the championships.
Right.
But as you know, she holds the current Parapan 100-meter record. She didn't do they didn't have a 2, but they're going to have a 2 here. So you get to see him.
Right, you know me. I'm going to find something pink just for the pink hurricane tomorrow. So Jessica Lewis, I want to wish you all the best. And not only just Jessica, but all our Bermuda athletes. We will be there to support you, along with hopefully many other Bermudians.
Well, Jay, we're going to have a short version of the Digicel Sports Show because we have a lot to do. Later this evening, LaShawn Merritt will be at the stadium meeting some of the young track athletes. And we will be streaming.
Yeah, we'll be streaming live.
So we have to do the setup for that today and get everything up and running. Last year we had some technical issues, which we want to avoid this year, and that's why we're started the ball rolling early to prepare for the track meet. Any party? No, you.
I'll save it. I had something for you, but I'm going to save it because I want to make sure that everything is signed off on. And I promise you next week we will talk about the competition of the May 24th.
Yes.
To see where our competitors are, some of the people we might want to highlight, who might be at a dark horse. Will Jay Donovan decide to...
In his words, no.
Like I said, stranger things have happened.
It won't be this year. Got a long talk with him.
So it's gonna be interesting. Who might come back to the island? Who might stay away from the island? Will Chris Estwanik be fit enough? Will Ashley Estwanik actually run? All these different things because remember, I think she rode last year.
She rode last year.
That's right.
She probably will not take part this year. She has a boot on. I think she has a hairline fracture. That is probably.
Look, you weren't supposed to say all this now.
But it is what it is.
We'll talk about these type of things and more
on Tuesday.
On Tuesday.
All right. Well, folks, have a good night from the Digicel Sports Show.